Hi everyone, here we've got the 1953 game, well, sort of game, Bouncing Ball. Originally written by a part-time MIT student named Oliver Arberth. What we've actually got here is a JavaScript simulation of Bouncing Ball, or what the people at the Retro Game Deconstruction Zone, I think it's called, think that Bouncing Ball was. The source code for it has been lost, and the details of, while we've got a pretty good idea about what it looked like, the details of how you actually controlled it are sketchy. So I'm just going to start it up, and what we've got is a simulation of a ball bouncing under gravity, losing energy each time it bounces. And yeah, that's most of it. However, if you have a look at every time the ball finishes bouncing, another dot shoots along the bottom of the screen, and when it does that, you'll see there's like about 3/4 of the way over to the right there's a little gap, and that is the hole. And so what happened with this game was, originally it was just a simulator of the bouncing ball, but at some point, no later than February 1953, they added this hole, and then what that means is that these three controls here, as I mentioned, no one knows what exactly the controls were on the original version. You can tweak them in order to try to get the ball to fall into that hole. So I could say, take the speed back a bit. Oh, I did it. And actually in this particular version, that is the easiest way to get it to fall into the hole, is just to reduce the speed such that by the time the ball gets towards the hole, it's got very little, it's gaining very little altitude on each bounce. But the other way of doing this, say if I turn the speed right up like this, would be to tweak the maybe the bounce parameter or the gravity or something to try and get it into the hole. So we have to sort of remember, well, at the moment it's bouncing right over the top of the hole. What if we have more gravity? So that's where the hole is, where my mouse pointer is. This is quite a limited game. In fact, I mean, it really barely qualifies as a game at all. Getting the ball into the hole is not obviously the goal, and thus it's not really obvious that you're meant to get any kind of entertainment out of it. The early players of this game at the university, which was at MIT, I believe. Oh, did I actually get that to go into? Oh. Yeah, there we go. I hadn't noticed that it had been bouncing into the hole for the past little while. Anyway, so it originally ran on a computer called the Whirlwind 1 at MIT, and what happened was the early players of the game, I think it was basically the faculty and the physics department or something like that, and students and so forth, competed with each other to try and get the ball to go into the hole. Now, whether that makes it a game, I'm not sure. I mean, it's a bit like arguing that a calculator, an electronic calculator, is an electronic game because you can invent games using it, like, guess the number, or who can make the longest word turning it upside down, or those sorts of things. And it's also not particularly clear if it influenced any later games. It seems to have been pretty much completely forgotten, apart from the odd anecdotal mention up until its rediscovering from the MIT archives sometime in the 2010s. But if we do count it as a video game, then this is the first known video game with moving graphics. And that seems